Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. Today this video that I'm talking about today, it was actually someone else called me with the idea, and thanks to that person, because I was never gonna think about this. So today we are covering a topic on pensions. I'm gonna say it straight to you. I'm not a qualified pension provider or those people. Those people, I would say, you need to be a qualified pension provider details, what, to sit down and provide specific details to someone. But because I do these videos to share the knowledge that I have on careers, on anything related to your work life, your career, and your everything. I feel like this is an important topic for me to share with you so that you get to understand and make wise decision while you are still working on your career, while you are choosing which career to follow. Okay. So today we're talking about pensions. Why is it important to prepare for your pension? How can you choose a job uh, thinking about your pension in your mind? So this is why I'm doing this video. So this is just for learning, guys. Don't my words of saying don't be a follower. Learn and use the advice that I give you to do more research and to do what's right. Okay. So uh let's start on what is pension. Pension is like the money. Okay, pension. Okay, we're talking about the pension funds, the money that you start getting or earning when you reach to the age where you cannot work anymore. In Ireland, it's around the mid 60s. I won't say 60 because some people they go up to 65 still working. Then they retire to pension after 65. So it's around mid 60s. So now when you retire, you can't work anymore. What do you survive on? Some people they survive on kids providing for them. Some people they survive on like the government welfare. Some people they survive on family members helping and stuff. But most people who planned their pension early, who planned their pension towards when they were still around their 20s, 30s, 40s, they normally able to take care of themselves without needing a child to support you, without needing a child to financially carry you with everything that you need. Do you understand that? So this is why I found it important. Thanks to this person, I cannot name them because I never asked the permission to name them. But next week we might make a video together. Then yeah, I'm gonna share the video. Then you get to know her. But she raised a question to me, or she raised something to me that I felt like, wow, this is so important. Because most of our followers, we talk about jobs, we talk about relocation, migration, we talk about this, but do we ever sit down and talk about pension? Why do you need it? And it got to me that most of our, especially African people, they do not even understand what's the pension, why is it important to prepare yourself for it, and why do you need it. Okay, I would say we know, but we sometimes we ignore. Like, when a topic is too hard, people tend to brush it off and just leave it and say we're gonna cross a bridge when we get to it. Because some of the people, when you start talking about pension to them right now, they might be like, what if I won't live until I'm 60? But again, what if you live until you are 60 and you have nothing to take care of yourself with? So let's get on to types of pension that you can survive on when you get to the age where now you can't work and you are receiving pension. Okay, so for this video mainly, I will focus only on someone that has stopped working, that is 60. I know some people, they can get their pension funds before even that age, but for this video I will focus on someone who cannot work anymore, that the laws or the rules or even their body doesn't allow them to work anymore because they are old enough, but they still need money to survive. Okay, so there is um, the state pension. The state pension is cut into two parts. There is the welfare part where it's I'm talking about Ireland here, the pension in Ireland. I'm gonna also try to cover compared to Africa. So the welfare state pension is means tested. That's when they sit down and check your that's when they sit down and check the assets that you have. Since you work your whole life, what assets do you have? Do you have houses, cars, businesses, and everything? So if you have a lot of assets, you might not qualify for the state pension, right? It's them that calculate all those things and get to the final answer that you deserve to get the state pension or not, which is the welfare pension, the means tested one. So if they decide that you do not qualify, it means you won't get anything from the government for your support. So some people, they think once you get to the old age, it's automatic that I'm now old, the government will start giving me money to survive on. It's not always like that. They first check your assets, they check your net worth as like individual. So if you have like assets and things on your name, you might not get that. They might say you sell your house so that you provide for yourself. Okay, this is just an example that I'm making. Then besides the state pension, this, let's say you don't have any assets in your name, you don't have anything, your whole life you work like a medium paying job that couldn't allow you to buy houses, cars, and everything. We see a lot of people getting into that, like you get to 60, you have no house, you are maybe living in the social government house, which is the social house. That's when your rent is reduced, the rent that you are paying to the county council is reduced, or you are paying actually nothing, then they give you some allowance to live on and stuff. So if you are in that category, you qualify for that welfare state pension. Okay, do you understand that? Then there is that one, it won't make you live a good life as a pensioner, but it makes you afford the daily needs. They do this to avoid having our old people struggling, sleeping without food on the table. So they do this just to make sure that you are surviving. It's for you to survive. Then the next one, I would still, it still falls under the state pension. But now this is the state pension that is based on your PRSI. So if you check your pay slip right now, you are working for wherever that you are working, for any company that you are working on, there is PRSI on your pay slip. So if you check that, there is some contribution that you are contributing to the state with the money that you are working on. So normally, if you check your payslip, there is like tax, there is PRSI, there is UC something. So check those. The PRSI, it goes towards your pension. The day you are old, they sit down, especially if you have worked for 40 years, okay, in Ireland. That's when now they sit down and they calculate that, okay, this person worked for 40 years and they contributed 80,000. This is an example again. They contributed 80,000 to PRSI. So that 80,000 that you contributed to them, they will give it back to you when you get to the what, to the pension age. But now they won't take 80,000 as a lump sum and give you. They will divide it into what, into weeks. Then from there, that's when you find someone every week getting 265, 270, 250 every week to from the pension. That's your PRSI that you contributed during your working years. Then when you get old, you can't work anymore, they give you back that to you. So it's similar to when you are in South Africa. When you are in South Africa, we had a provident fund, and there was provident fund and what, okay, I forgot, but there was another one. So those funds, they contribute, you contribute them when you are still working. When you get to the age where you can't work anymore, that's when you go claim. Some of them, they come as a lump sum. Some of them, they pay you every week or every month. That's what you survive on. It's what you contributed when you were still working, and now they are paying you back because you can't work anymore. So the reason they introduced those funds, PRSI, and those, they're trying to make sure that our society doesn't work and blew their money when they get to the age of 60s or 70. They can't even work anymore, and they still don't have anything in their pocket, and the government has to now take care of you. Do you understand that? So this helps you, and the government is trying to also protect themselves, because it's going to be hard to take care of everyone, guys, who didn't work and provide the pension for the state. You understand that? Then after these two, which is the uh, pension from the government or from the state, there is a private one. So the private one, I was talking to the client the other day that is working for themselves. They are owning a company in Ireland. So I was talking to them, telling them that, look, you have to make sure that you follow the tax regulation properly, and you also contribute towards your pension. This one now, because you're the one taking money from your company and sending it to your pension fund, you decide how much you want to send. You have a right. So most people, business owners, people that have companies and stuff, they can even contribute more to their own pension fund, because they are thinking, let's say you have a company right now, and in your company you make 80,000 euros a month. That's a month you're making it. And you know that, guys, I don't need 80,000 to survive on a daily basis. So instead of you buying luxury cars, buying things, some people, they prefer taking that money, maybe taking 20,000 and putting it on the pension fund. So there are schemes for that. There is they you go to the professionals and ask them, especially the banks, ask them, how can I contribute more towards my pension? That's when they can sit down with you and explain to you what means are there for you to contribute. Even if you are working for a normal job as a worker, not even as a business person, you are working and you are getting paid 6,000 every month. Most of the times, guys, in Ireland, if you don't want a luxury fancy life, 3,000 is enough for you to survive, to get a good life, to do your good things, and to travel if you want to travel around. So 3,000 is enough, especially if you have a partner that is also working. Maybe your partner is earning 6,000, you are also earning 6,000. You guys are bringing 12,000 in the house. That money is enough for you guys to do whatever that you want and still be left with some money. Instead of you guys wasting that money, you can as well talk to a financial advisor or go to the bank and tell them that, okay, we are earning a lot of money and we want some of it to actually go towards our pension contributions. They can actually take some of that money and send it to your pension contribution. And the nice part is that some people, they actually do this to, I don't want to use the word avoid, or but to actually cut on the tax that you pay, because in Ireland there is a cut off tax that if you earning anything more than 40 something thousand, you're going to be taxed 40%. Or if you have two or three sources of income, you're going to be taxed 40% on some of them. So to actually avoid being taxed that 40% on your second or your third income, or even if it's one income but it's over the cut off limit, you can actually take some of the money, contribute it to your pension. Then you won't be taxed too much, because let's do the maths. Instead of you trying to take that money and using it today, what is, you don't even need it that much. If you put it to your pension, you won't pay tax that you are paying on 40%, because 40%, guys, is a lot for them to take your money, and that's just take it like that. But when you contribute towards your pension, the day you are 60, when you are now taking it out and using it every month, it's going to be easier and it's going to be lesser. It's going to be taxed at a lower rate compared to that 40% that you were going to pay. Okay, so I just wanted to cover this topic and make it as simple as possible for people to understand their pension funds. Then now let's come to the African part. So the Okay, before we go to Africa, let's first finish here in Ireland. So here in Ireland, there are people that are working for agencies. There are people that are working for their private companies. There are people that are working for for like there are jobs that do not contribute towards. I think there's a new law that just came in Ireland that every company should now contribute towards the pension. That's when an employee is paying something and the company is the employer, they are also paying something towards your pension. I think there's a new law or new rule that came in. So I don't know if it has passed yet or not yet, but it has come in because they notice that when people get to the old age, they don't have money saved, they don't have assets, they don't have anything, and now they all depend on the state. It's still simple and easy when you talk to someone that is 20 years old and you tell them that prepare for your pension. They'll be like, I'm young, maybe I won't get to that age, maybe. Guys, believe me, there is a lot of people that get to that age and find themselves desperate and stuck. At that point, you start regretting everything. But it will be too late to regret because you should have prepared when there was time, but you never prepared. So, um, some companies before this new rule that came in, some companies they have pension providers. Like let's say when you are working for the local authorities, of course, obvious, they have the pension contributors scheme that whether you like it or not, as long you're working with them, there is money taken towards the pension. So those we saw them for like big roles. Let's say you are working as an engineer, you are working as what, and you are working for a big company or a private big company, or you are working for the local authorities. So that one was obvious that you contribute towards that. So someone might ask, what if I'm working for the local government, or I'm working for a big company that contributes pension funds for me, and I'm also having the PRSI taken from my payslip? What happens when I get to the age of 60? What happens is that you get both the money. So when you were working for the company or the government where they have the pension scheme in place, they take maybe 150 euros from your payslip for pension and it's written the pension contribution. Then you also have the PRSI taking money from your payslip. That means when you get to the age of 60, you now have two sources of income coming in. You have the source of income from that pension contribution that you were doing because you were working for the local authority or you were working for a big company. You have that coming in your pocket. And you also have the state pension, which is the PRSI, coming in. So that's why sometimes you find some people, when they get to the old age, they still manage to take care of themselves and still support the kids. And you find yourself, how are you still managing to give your kids money, but you are old enough, you are no longer working, you are on pension? It's because that person prepared when there was still time. That person has money from their company that is coming in, and the person has the money from the state pension coming in. So let's say the state pension is paying you 250 euros every week, every Thursday or every Tuesday, you're getting that money. And also you have from your company, maybe you have 2,000 euros coming in every month, or 500 every week. So now imagine you have about 700 and something euros coming in. That's the same as someone who's waking up every day going to work, but that is coming to you while you are sitting at home. That's because you prepared your life. That's when your kids come to you saying, I need this, I need this, you can actually jump and support your kids. That's when you can be still able to buy your grand and your grandkids present on their birthdays. You don't need someone coming to actually fund you, give you money to take care of you. There is a video that I saw on, was it TikTok? The kids were talking to their father. They were telling the father that you have enough money, you have money, you have everything, you're just living with us because you can't take care of yourself, like physical and all. Guys, it's so nice to hear something like that, because I would say, as a black child, where I come from in the African society, it's almost hard to find a parent that is 80 years old or what, and they still have enough money to take care of themselves. They even have enough to give the kids money, but they just need to leave you with you. Why? Because they are maybe struggling to take care of themselves physically, but finances, they are okay. They're even taking care of you financially. It's not easy to get that in our African society because I don't know, our parents didn't have that knowledge to, or they didn't have that education. But we are a new generation. We are coming up, guys. Let's change certain patterns that were happening in our families that we can change. So as we are still there, let me straight away jump to Africa. So now in Africa, I know when I was growing up, we used to hear Transnet workers, government workers, police, nurses that were working for the government. Guys, they get to the old age, they have money coming in, they are getting paid. I remember I was stayed with another gogo. She was from church. I used to go to church with her. She was getting about 5,000 rand pay. From, she was a nurse before, so she was now retired, but as a nurse before, so she was getting 5,000 rands sitting at home. So that 5,000 rands, she also had rooms at the backyards, you know, the rooms. She was getting 5,000 rand from her pension, and she was also getting thousand from the rooms in the backyard. So Gogo had actually about 10,000 salary coming in every month in her pocket, to a point that even the kids come say, Ish, Mama, I'm stuck, I need support. Then Gogo would take out her money because for her, she's sitting at home, she buys her favorite things and she's okay. She doesn't need to get a text going to work every day, but she's still getting paid 10,000 coming in her pocket. So she used to help her kids, and you could see that they are living a healthy, happy life. So that all is not magic, it's not luck, it's preparations towards your pension. Okay, so in South Africa, those that worked for the government, they are fully prepared because the government helps them to prepare. Then there is some parents that never really were fortunate enough to prepare, or they never had information to prepare for this. Some of them, they depend on this state pension that I mentioned, that is means tested, where the government sit down and they calculate, can you survive on yourself, do you have anyone helping you, do you have assets that you can sell. They find out that you have nothing. That's when now they give you, I think I'm a state pension right now in South Africa, they are getting about 1,200. I don't know, I don't want to make assumptions, but they do get something. But guys, that money, if you're gonna get paid 1,000 rands in your pocket, it's not enough. The way groceries, what is it, inflation going up every day, the way things are expensive, tell me you have to survive on 1,000 rands. It's very hard. It's even hard for people that are working and earning 3,000 or 5,000 to survive, but yourself, you have to survive on 1,000. And on top of that, now you have give to start following your kids around, asking them for money, asking them to help you. At that point, they are also struggling because imagine you, when you are starting life and your parents are already settled, they are fine, they have their pension, they are okay. When you are starting, it's easy to focus on yourself. Imagine you are climbing a mountain. When you are climbing a mountain and you don't have to pull your mom or your dad or both of them, you don't have to be pulling them while you're climbing higher. It's a bit easier. It's very hard to climb a mountain, which is, it's very hard to finish school and you start getting to workplace and you start trying to work. You're trying to save for your pension, you're trying to take care of your kids, you're trying to take care of everything around you, and you still have to carry your parents on your back. It's very hard. But now if your parents say, I'm okay, my baby, just continue climbing, instead of them, you carrying them, they actually come and give you a hand to push you up that mountain. Just imagine the scenario, how it works. So now instead of having someone that you have to actually pull up with you, you actually have someone that is lifting or putting a hand where you are stepping so that you don't slip and fall. It becomes easy for yourself and for your kids. So I feel like this pension thing is very important. So if you get to sit down and do your own research and understand what it takes to prepare for it, it's not as hard as it looks. Then also, there are some countries, for example, Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe also has those pension. It also has everything. But because there is no currency, there is no a lot of things, like things are so hard. Even the teachers and the police and the civil workers in that country, they may get to the pension state where they still don't get their pensions because of the economic problems. You understand that? And also, it happens to South Africa as well. There are some people that never work, never contributed, and they never work. So sometimes they don't even qualify to be under standing pay. So it depends on yourself, on your circumstances, and on the country that you are living in. So let's say someone in Zimbabwe who is now 60, who once worked, yes, whether they're working for a private company or for the government or what, they still have some state pension in there. But sometimes that money might be, especially in Zimbabwe, it might be lesser than the money that you use to take a bus to go to town and collect it. So let's make an example. Someone living in a rural town, they once worked for the state. So now they have to go claim their pension. For you to travel, you have to go to a town, the nearest town. The bus is 300 rands or $300. What money are they using in Zimbabwe? So now you have to travel that. Then when you get there, they hand you 100 rands or $100, while you use 300 to get there. It becomes even useless for you to go collect those pensions. So look at your country, look at the state that you are in, do a research on that, and prepare for your pension, prepare for the ways that you're going to feed yourself when you get to that age. That's it for this video. I feel like I covered all the important things about preparing for your pension. If you feel like you need to understand more questions, you can always send us a WhatsApp message, or you can comment on the comment section. Tell us what you want to know. We're going to respond to the comments. I promise we get so busy, but we do sit down and respond to the comments. Thank you, guys.